In this video, we're going to go over some key commands so you can use to quickly navigate up and down your timeline. Now, I'm not talking about up and down the layers, I'm literally talking about up and down in your timeline. So to get started, let's actually go ahead and select layer 6. I'm going to press 6 on my keypad. Now with layer 6 selected, I want to see any keyframes that have been applied to that layer. So I'm going to press the U key. Now if you see keyframes in a layer, you can go ahead and navigate between those keyframes just by pressing the J key to move earlier in your timeline, or press K to move down in your timeline. Now if you want to quickly move to the beginning or the end of a layer, you can press I to move to the beginning and O to move to the end of the layer. Now I'm going to press J twice to move back to a couple of keyframes here. If you want to trim the start point of a layer, you can hold down the Option key on Mac or Alt on Windows and then press the left bracket key, which is right next to the P key. I'm just going to undo that. If you want to trim the out point of a layer, it's the same sort of function, just with the right bracket key. So again, Option on Mac, Alt on Windows, and then the right bracket key. I'll just go ahead and undo that command as well. Now if I select layer 7, just by pressing 7 on my keypad, and then I press U again to open up the keyframe parameters for that layer, notice when I press J to move up in the timeline, I'm still moving across keyframes across multiple layers. So it doesn't necessarily matter when you press K or J whether or not you have that layer selected. It'll just move to the next grouping of animated parameters. Now if I want to select all the layers in the timeline, I can press Command A on the Mac and Control A on the Mac. Now if I press U, it'll quickly expand all those layers. If I press the tilde key, I can maximize any panel that I currently have selected. Since I have the project panel selected, it magnified that. So let's go ahead and make sure we have the timeline selected, and we'll press the tilde key. Now I can quickly and easily see everything that's been animated in my project. If I need to zoom in to the area where my current time indicator is placed, I can use the plus key, which is up near my delete key. Each time I tap, it'll increase the magnification, and of course if I want to zoom back out, I can press the minus key. Now as I'm working, if I want to reset my work area, I can press B for the beginning of that work area. Then I'll press K to just move down the timeline in time. Notice as I'm clicking through, I'm literally moving from keyframe to keyframe. Since I have all my keyframes available, it's taking a while to move down the timeline. Now if I want to set my work area out point, I can press N. Now if I want to jump directly to the start of the work area, I'll press Shift and Home. I can press Shift and N to jump to the end of the work area. Now if I press Home without Shift, it'll just move to the beginning of the timeline. Then I can press B to reset the start of my work area, and if I press End, then I can go ahead and press N, as in Nancy, to reset my work area that way. Now what if I want to jump to a specific point in time? I can do that by pressing Alt Shift on Windows or Option Shift on the Mac, and then you can hold down the J key. When I do that, it'll open the Go to Time dialog box. So here I can type 500 if I want to jump to 5 seconds, so Shift Option or Shift Alt and the J key. If I want to go to frame 2 to 12, I can type that in, and boom, my current time indicator is automatically going to move there. Now if you need to move frame by frame through an animation, I'm going to press the tilde key just to get back so we can see our composition again. And I'll click off any of the layers to deselect. Now if you want to move your current time indicator forwards in time or backwards in time, you can press page up or page down. Now if you don't have a full-size keyboard and you want to move forwards and backwards by single frames, you can use the Command key and right arrow or left arrow on Windows. It would be Control right arrow and left arrow. If you want to move 10 frames at a time, just add Shift to that, and then you'll be moving 10 frames at a time up and down the timeline. So now that concludes our keyboard shortcuts we can use to navigate through our timeline.